This was quite a complex project. We had a lot of different disciplines working on the exact same project where we had people from mechanical, from electrical, computer engineering, and computer science all working on the exact same project. There was a lot of moving parts, got a lot of different components involved in this kind of phone, right? So this was very great news, guys. And you can see on the, we were hit with a huge challenge, guys, which was, hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we have an amazing topic for you guys, man. We'll be talking about the project that got me into Microsoft, right? So this is one of the questions that I get a lot from so many people. They're asking me about what kind of project do they need to do if they want to break into the industry, right? They're trying to see what kind of projects do they need to have on the resume so that they can impress potential employers, right? So that they can start getting interviews and hopefully getting offers that they ultimately want, right? So I'll probably, there's so many projects that you could do, right? So I'll probably make a separate video on those kind of lists of different projects that are out there you guys could potentially do, right? In this video, we'll be going over the project that I did, right? That helped me to really impress the interviewers, right? That interviewed me, right? And also helped me to land a lot of different interviews, right? So hopefully by watching this video, you can find value by seeing, oh, okay, this is the kind of project that I need to do to kind of show that I can do very complex things and hopefully impress them, and so that they could also give you an offer, right? So this is gonna be a very, very good use of your time. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Yeah, guys, how we get this project is actually very interesting, right? So in order for students to graduate, right, they normally need to complete a senior design project, right? So you can kind of think of a senior design project as like this last big project that students need to do so that they can graduate, right, for their undergrad, right? So it's a very, very big deal, guys, right, for us to be able to do that, right? So you see a lot of pressure, right? So we had two choices, right? Either to come up with our own kind of project, right, or have so we'll choose one that a company wants help with, right? We could probably do that, right? So we, those were the two options. Either we come up with our own project, right, or we could have one that's already sponsored and we could get that done, right? So so when I first went in there, I had no idea what I wanted to do, right? My friends and I, we had no idea what kind of project that we wanted to do, right? So we were still debating, so we get a sponsored or should create our own, right? You know, do we want something complex, something easy? We didn't know which one we wanted, right? So what happened, right? One of the companies actually came to the class, right, and did a presentation on this autonomous lawnmower, right? So this kind of piqued our interest, right? It was like, wow, this is sounds kind of interesting, right? So, and it kind of complex, right? So we saw that this would be a perfect opportunity for us, right? Because some of us, they have jobs after college, right? So this would have been the perfect kind of project to do to kind of put on a resume so that potential employers can see it and actually give us interviews and offers, right? So we automatically just went to the to that teacher after class, right, and said that we want to do that particular project, right? This project is definitely made for us, right, based on our skill set, and we actually convinced them to actually choose us, right, for this project, right? So we were chosen, and we were extremely happy for that, right? So as you guys can see, right, this was quite a complex project, right, which is the reason why we had a lot of different disciplines working on the exact same project at the same time, guys, where we had people from mechanical, from electrical, computer engineering, and computer science all working on the exact same project, right? So this required a lot of human power to actually kind of attempt to bring this to life, right? And this idea to life. There was a lot of moving parts, got a lot of different components involved in this kind of creation, right? So I'll be focusing more on what I worked on because that's what we mostly cared about, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was a part of the computer engineering, computer science kind of type of area, right? This was my world, right? I'm saying I liked it actually, right? So how we divided up the work, right? We did it based on the skill set that we all possessed, right? You know what I'm saying? So now I've taken a couple classes on computer vision, right? So because of that, I was in charge of the object detection, right? And I also wanted to be part of the navigation, right? To make the lawnmower autonomous, right? So I took those hard stuff because it was gonna help me to grow and actually learn based on those things that I do, right? So this was extremely good, guys. So to power this robot, right, we decided to use ROST, guys, right? ROST was gonna allow us to be for all of the different components, right, to be able to talk to each other, right, and make so they can make the right decision, right? You know what I'm saying? We wanted to get stuff from the IMU, GPS, right? And ROST allows us to do that, right? ROST stands for, I think, Robotic Operating System, right? It's an open source thing that allows us to use a lot of different stuff. It was very useful. We're very glad that somebody made ROST, man. It came very good for us, right? Because we got things coming from the microcontroller, and we got things coming from the computational board, right? So many different things going on, right? So one of the requirements that we had, right, was that whenever the lawnmower receives a human, right, it should shut off, right? I think within like 6 feet, the robot should shut off automatically, right? In order for this to happen, right, we had to have a robot be able to see its environment, right, and see if that's a human in front of you, right? If that's a human, right? Then to automatically shut off, right? So to achieve that, we had to have some kind of camera. So we had a camera, not only have a camera, but also have the ability to process that the thing in front of it, right, is actually a human, right? So because of that, we had to use some kind of open source software as well, right? I believe I used TensorFlow API, right? Which the model that I used specifically was trained on the MS Coco data set, right? You guys can see what I'm saying, those kind of, it stands for common objects and context, right? So this is like this model was trained on most common thing that we normally see, right? So it's a data set of 300K images of the 90 most found commonly objects, like you think of like dogs, cats, laptops, teddy bear, things like that, right? So it also had human as well, right? So we were taking care of that, right? Yeah, guys, as you guys can see, I was successfully able to add that open source software to our project, right? You can see it's able to detect a person, right? Also detect a cell phone, right? So this was very great news, guys. And you can see on the left side, we had it printing, right? The data that it was seeing, right, into this ROS environment, right? Which is this is the how you're pretty much used it for debugging, right? Right. This is very useful information, right? So so successfully able to add it, right, with no problems on that. So now the robot can see humans and automatically shut off, right? So that requirement was set. So now, guys, remember I told you guys that we also wanted the robot to be autonomous, right? So that was one of the requirements, right? So that's why we ended up having to get a LiDAR so that we can enable the robot to be able to navigate around its surroundings and be able to map its environment, right? Because we'll be using it as part of our tech stack, right? I'll be showing you guys later on the tech stack that we're using. And the LiDAR definitely was a crucial component of that. So that's why we ended up having to get a LiDAR, right? So as you can see, this is the LiDAR that we had, right? So you can see this is me just playing around with it, doing some debugging, right? Doing some cool things like that, right? I probably have some video. I guess will probably be able to see what I was actually able to do in the lab, right? You know what I'm saying? So very cool stuff that you guys are seeing here, right? So the navigation stack I was talking about was the ROS navigation stack, right? Which is a very popular navigation stack that people use in their robots, right? So that they could give it the ability of automation, right? So it could navigate around its surrounding on its own, right? So this is a very good one, right? So one of the requirements for the navigation stack that is that it needs to have a LiDAR, and also it needs to be able to get data coming from the encoders, the wheel encoders, right? So I was gonna get that part of the wheel encoders when we do integration, right? That was the plan, right? So I was setting up the LiDAR, right? Because I was taking care of the high level stuff, the LiDAR, the camera, right? And this was my primary function, right? So now all that we needed to do was do integration and plug everything in, and so that the robot could essentially have that the autonomous ways of navigation that it was originally planned, right? So now it was time for integration, guys, right? Because everybody was working on their own different components, right? So it was time for the time to put everything together and make everything work as a unit, right? But unfortunately, guys, we were hit with a huge challenge, guys, which was COVID, guys. COVID messed everything up for everybody, guys, right? Because we couldn't get together to actually play with the sensors, right? Because this is the kind of project that you actually need to get together and to actually play with the sensors. Actually, it's physical. I'm saying it's not like only software based where we could easily work online remotely, right? But we couldn't get together. We didn't really get to actually finish the whole thing so that we could have the fully autonomous lawnmower. And we did have a functional working robot, right? But it was only uh good for by controlling with a remote. We could go around and cut the grass and things like that with our control remote, video game remote. Till this day, this is one of my biggest regrets of not finishing this project, right? But regardless, though, I still use this project as one of the projects that I'm most proud of, right? Because its complexity, the type of things I was doing, right? I was involved in a lot of open source things, right? And actually a very, very cool project, right? I'm saying, and interviewers are most of the time very impressed by that complexity and how fun this project, seemed like, right? And I took part in that. And I said that I went out of my comfort zone to do that. It was a very, very good project to kind of do. I don't regret it one bit. I liked this project so much that I'm actually working on something with my friend along these lines, autonomous vehicles, right? So something that I'm very passionate about, and I think has a lot of potential. So stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? I might be showing it to you guys pretty soon. So yeah, guys, this pretty much wraps it up, right? So if you're looking to get into this industry, guys, right, I encourage you guys to kind of choose project that breaks you out of your comfort zone. It pushes you to the limit, right? And also make sure that the project's exciting so that when you talk about it, people can see that you're very passionate about the project that you're doing, you know what I'm saying, which shows you that you're very dedicated to the field of work, right? And as a result, the people that interviewing you is going to be, wow, pretty impressed. This person is very interested in this kind of field, so definitely they're going to want to give you a chance to kind of come into this field, guys, right? So also going to see that you're willing to grow, right? You might not know something now, but with hard work and dedication, you're gonna put in the work to become proficient and not give up too easily, guys, which is a very good skill that you need, especially if you're coming into this tech space, what I'm saying, because you're gonna encounter a lot of not gonna be familiar with a lot of things, guys. You gotta be comfortable with uncertainty, right? And not knowing about a particular topic and put in the work, right? So yeah, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us today, right? So if you found this video informative, right, if you got found it useful, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. What I'm saying, consider joining us an amazing community that we have here on this channel, guys, right? So make sure to don't hesitate to leave a comment. Any question you guys may have, guys, if you're trying to break into tech, let me know in the comment section. We have a conversation about it. And yeah, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.